Good morning, everybody. Come on in. Good to see you. I am in the office today. It's been another busy morning. Great to have you in here. Let's start, as we do, with the Pledge of Allegiance. Let me get it up here. So grateful to the graphics team. So no matter where we are, please join me in standing for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Thank you for that. As always, thank you to my friend Glenn for being so good about pointing that out. So let's see. Busy days, isn't it? Busy days. Although it doesn't seem like there's a lot of big news out there. But let's talk about something that made me really smile. Now, do you remember that in the last couple of weeks, I have been talking about how the big lie is really what they've done to January 6th. They tried to seize that term and put it on the election, but the big lie has been proven to be January 6th. How do we know? Well, January 6th, the narrative machine said was this, and this: murderous, insurrection, organized, all this stuff. And over the last 2.5 months or so, all of those facts have fallen apart. And it's not just that they've been proven in court, because there's been no court hearings yet. I mean, there have been some hearings about bail and some hearings about, but it hasn't been, but instead it's been the details as they've come forward. And a lot of it's journalism, a lot of it's citizen journalism. You know, Julie Kelly, our friend at Julie_Kelly 2 on Twitter. You just watch her, and she's a great writer. And she's been working through the files and working through the different details, but she's also been linking to other people. But we now know the facts. It's not like we're talking about what could come about in court. There may still be court deliberations. There may be trials and things. These are just the facts that have come out. You know, the officer who died a day or two later died of natural causes, right? All the people who died, except for the woman, Ashley Babbitt, who was shot, all those other people died of natural causes, not from a murderous insurrection. So the details have fallen apart. The narrative machine told us one thing, and the details have made that narrative fall apart. And they know it now. They know it, okay? The difference is, and they called that the big lie. They've been trying to say that the big lie was 2020. The big lie was January 6th. Now, go back to the 2020 election. What we haven't seen, notwithstanding White House press, I guess, what is she called? The press secretary, Jen Psaki, said, oh, yeah, we know the courts have already looked at all the facts of 2020. It's not true. About, 25 cases were in the courts, or maybe there's more, maybe more like 50 cases, but most of them were thrown out because of standing. We're not going to look at the facts because we're not the right party. The parties aren't before us. That's what happened. Now we're seeing more and more of the facts coming out, but here's what I want to teach you. Then, so the last 10 days or 2 weeks, I've been saying, don't look at what they call the big lie, because that's not the big lie. The big lie was January 6th. Now look back, and what we're seeing is that we're starting to get more facts about what happened in November. Again, I'm not here to say that I know for sure that the election should have gone the other way. I'm not saying that right now that there's a path to do anything, because we have a constitution. I mean, there might be a path to impeach somebody. There might be a path for law enforcement to be involved, perhaps, but we don't know. None of that we know, but now we're getting the facts out. So here's the amazing thing. I was sent a video of President Trump from 2 nights ago, I think it was, where he was giving a speech to a group of, I think, pro-life supporters, but I'm not sure. And he said, look, I'm not going to tolerate this anymore. I'm going to turn this on there. I'm going to turn it on its head. And I'm going to refer to what is the big lie. The big lie is that the November 2020 election was perfect. The big lie is that the 2020 election was somehow done without for the first time in history, done without any problems. Everything was perfect. For the 5 years before 2020, the left spent a lot of time, Robert Kennedy, Wharton School of Business, writing about how the electronic machines were not very effective, or there were concerns about them. Suddenly, this 2020 election is perfect. Even after the article comes out, was it Newsweek or Time, where the network of Democrat money operatives talked about how they fortified the election. Anyway, the president took the big lie, those 3 words, and he weaponized it against the critics. Now, here's what I want to teach you. Back when fake news was first used, do you realize that the phrase fake news was used by the media aimed at Trump? They said that Trump is not telling the truth, therefore that's fake. And they accused him of peddling fake news. And he realized, that's a pretty good phrase, and he turned it on the media. And the media became the fake news. Remember he pointed out there at the thing? That you can go back and look. He took the phrase fake news that had been aimed at him, and he turned it around and aimed it at the media. And now we talk only about how the media is the fake news. You don't talk about if Biden lies or Trump lies or anybody lies. We don't say they're the fake news. We talk about the fake news. That's what Trump just did yesterday morning, by aiming the big lie back at his critics, because he's taking the phrase and focusing on his critics. He's taking all the energy, all the bright lights, and aiming it back at the 2020 election. And again, what I've said from the beginning of this, maybe this month, April, is no matter how we got here, we have to fix it. Meaning, no matter how we got to the point where half of the country thinks the election was improperly done, we have to fix it. And so we have to go ahead and do that and make that voter confidence come back, no matter why. If you're a left winger, if you're right winger, if you're, it's imperative now to do that. And that's what Trump did by focusing back there. He's a master at this kind of thing. He's a master at steering the energy of his opponents towards the thing he wants them to do. And that's what he did with the big lie. And you saw, he says the big lie, and then you get all these people, Liz Cheney, the media, objecting and trying to refocus it back to where they wanted it. It's not working. It's not working. It's amazing to see. But, I had a discussion with someone, I won't bother to tell you who, this morning. Conservatives and we the people have to remember to focus on the things that matter, not the shiny objects. There's a lot of chasing shiny objects. In the California recall right now, you got a lot of shiny objects out there. We have to focus on the things that matter and get ourselves, what will control the damage and get on offense. That's what's going on. And so the elections, the president knows the elections is one of those things. You've got to make sure you have good elections. As I mentioned yesterday morning on this video, last week in Florida, there was an election where the local community feels like the election was improperly done. I don't know if it was or wasn't, but you got to get to the bottom of how they feel about it, or we won't have people participating in the election process. And we will become something that's not recognizable, which is not what we want. We need to have a participatory democracy. Our republic flourishes. We need to be in the marketplace of ideas and all that stuff, sure. But we also need to aim our attention at the right things so that we understand what's going on. So that's my lesson for today, how fake news and the big lie were related, and how Donald Trump turned the energy from each of those towards the target he wanted, and how there's nothing that the left or the rhinos or anybody else can do. Now we're talking about it, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. So big service, big help, and that's how you get from fake news to the big lie. All right, I'll talk to you later.